and welcome to my channel, Everyday Old Man Adventures. I'm Jeff, your host and the creator of this YouTube channel. In the following video, you're going to see me loading up some 3-inch 410 tungsten shot that I will be using this year to hunt grouse with. I hope you enjoyed the video, and the good news is that since I learned from COVID, I may or may not be wearing pants underneath my desk right now. So, what's the vote? Like, go in the comments and question, am I wearing pants or am I not wearing pants? Okay, enjoy the video. See you at the end. One of the many other things that I do here is do some reloading. So I have some 410 3-inch shells. Trying out a new load. I'm using some of this ballistics products 9.5 tungsten shot. Did a bunch of grouse hunting this year, and the number 8 shot 2 3/4 shells that I was using seemed to not do the job. The grouse were really spooky this year, and for whatever reason, when I'd shoot at them, I think I was just at a little bit too far range and didn't get the job done. So went and fired 3 test loads the other day. Whenever I reload, I always go out and shoot a couple test loads, make sure everything's good. So I have some holes that were new. I'm going to go ahead and deprime them and reshape them, and I just want to check them over and make sure that portion's good. So anyway, the first thing to do with them is to load them up in my little Mech Junior press here. I'm going to go ahead and pop out the primer, reshape them. So those of you that aren't familiar with shotgun reloading, this little piece right here. Anyway, that little piece, that was the primer that was in the back of the shotgun shell. In fact, yeah, when you run them back through the press, they will resize. That one, you can see that there's, can you see that difference in it? See that little ring in the light? So it swelled a little bit. I wonder if I could, okay, that is not going all the way down for some reason. So what we need to do is we need to adjust this guy. Oh. Anyway, I'm going to work on adjusting this press so that we can resize these shells all the way down to the base, and then I'll be back. I think I got it now. All right, we're going to take an unprimed one. I think I got it adjusted. Slide it right up here on. This is the sizing / depriming die. If I turn you a little bit more that way, you can see it. Anyway, it's going to go down, resize the brass. There we go. Adjustment. There we go. So, primer's out. Readjust it. Should we try to load it? Sure, why not? Let me grab a couple primers. Okay. I like to say that at the beginning of everyone, apparently. Here's the new shotgun shell primer. So, place that down here in this little cup. Let's see if we can see it a little bit better. We're going to take our shotgun shell, put it right up on there, push down on this, and that should have seated the primer. But if you look, it's not quite seated all the way. So remember I said that this is set up for 2 3/4 inch? Well, guess what? I've got to adjust that too. So let me adjust it, be right back. Okay, I think I got it adjusted. Man, this whole, like, figuring out how to get my face and do everything else. Okay, anyway, so primer, another shell with no primer, up on the press, pull it down, take it back off. Primer is seated all the way, so that looks good. There's 2 or 3, do the third one here. Primer. shell. That one went all the way. What's the difference in... Anyway, okay. Primer seated in that one too. So the next stage is putting the powder and wadding in. So flip this up here. Pull my camera around. Maybe I'll figure out a better place to put it where you can look over my shoulder maybe. All right, so and this one is little gun powder. Let's see, maybe move that out of the way. Hold on, let me rearrange some stuff. I'm telling you, this trying to do stuff with your camera on and trying to figure out all this stuff it's interesting. It's gonna be a bit of a challenge, but we'll make it through it. Okay, anyway, this one's got little gun powder, approximately 13 grains. This hopper has our tungsten 9.5 shots. We're going to put in 285 grains of that. I did modify this charge bar, put in a bushing, and then size it specifically because of the density of the shot to be able to make these loads. Anyway, so I'll walk you through it and we'll load up a shell. So the first thing we need to do is we've got the shell in the keeper. Going to bring it down. And right now this has a powder charge in it. Push it over. Bring it back up. And that put our charge of powder inside the shell. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take one of these wads, plastic wad, and one of their felts, which is just a little tiny, if you can see that, it's just a little tiny felt disc. By the way, I bought all this kit. The only thing that they didn't provide, who are these guys again? Ballistics Products. The only thing that they didn't provide was the powder. I had to provide that myself. That was a good way to get started to test it. Had everything in it, minus the overshot card. I did have to purchase those separately, but anyway, each one of the kits is enough to do 25 shells. Which, I mean, if you think about it, 50 shells for me to shoot grouse in the woods is probably 5 to 10 years worth of doing it. But I like to be a little bit over prepared, so I did just order the stuff to load another 50 shells. This time I just bought the pellets and the wads. I have plenty of the other felts, overshot cards, and I'll just be able to reuse these husks again in the future. So anyway, put the wad inside put the felt inside the wad. I'm just using a 1/4-inch bolt as a little ramrod here. And we're going to stick that down inside the shotgun shell. I guess one thing to notice is if you see the end of those, they're a little bit tore up there on the end. Maybe you can see a little bit better that way, a little tore up on the end. See what it looks like in the final crimp. That should pretty much come out. So we're going to put it back here on the press. As you noticed, we'll pull this handle back down. When I came across it this way to drop the powder down the funnel into the shell, now that loaded up the shot bushing. So this is full now, so we'll just shove, I'd like to give it a little tap. We'll shove this that way. I don't know if you heard it on camera, but you could hear the shot fall inside the shell. Oop. Sometimes it gets stacked up there a little bit right on the end. Pull that little keeper back. Just tap it a little bit. And it'll work its way down in there. So you can see when it pulled the wadding back a little bit with it. This piece, it does it, and that's kind of what gets it hung up in there. Not perfect, but you can push it back down again. Once again, I use my little tamper, and I just push that back. Push that back down. Probably can't see that. Anyway, just push the wadding back down inside the shell. Next thing to do is put on an overshot card. basically this just helps the sealing ring at the top, gives it something kind of hard to push against. It's just a piece of cardboard is all it is. So put that on top of, it will sit between the hull, if I can get it in there, sit between the hull, the top of the wadding. All right, it's in there now. I'm gonna move over to this. This is the pre-crimp stage. So this will start to fold over all the ends of the hull. Pull it down. Okay, see all those BBs that just fell down? It's not a good thing. That means I'm missing part of my charge. So what we need to do is pick up all these BBs, put them back in here, and we'll have to do our charge again. Make sure that we're getting the right weight. Sometimes these things get stacked up. They just don't quite fall down. So next time maybe we'll try to tap it on a little bit. Let me get cleaned up and we'll try again. All right, so I dumped that shot back out of there. The wad is still inside with the powder charge. Will it make a difference if there's that many fewer pellets left? Yes, it will. And whenever loading ammunition, it's always important to know your weights. What will happen is that the amount of charge in here is designed for this specific weight. Newton's law, right? For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So when you have the explosion and the bottom of the shell casing here, in this case a 410 hull, it will push out that column of shot inside the wad down the barrel of your gun. By having too little in there, too little shot, it's not as big a problem as having too heavy of shot, because if this explosion doesn't get that shot column moving out of the shell, that gas pressure has to go somewhere. Usually it ruptures off the bottom of your shell. High enough, an overcharge basically could cause the chamber, the firearm, to explode. So we want to make sure that it's right. It needs to be pretty right on. So I went ahead and dumped the shot back up here into our canister, which was easy enough. I just pried the shot card back off, dumped it in there. So we're going to put this back in again. We're going to load the shot. And this time we're going to make sure that we're going to tap on it a little bit. We're going to make sure that it all gets in there where it's supposed to go. In fact, you don't even have to pull it all the way down in this stage. So then we'll use our screwdriver here. Kind of tap it, pick it back up. All right, same thing. It pulled the wad, got caught around this funnel, back up a little bit, but we can just push that back down. And I am noticing that the amount of shot in here does look closer. I can't really show you too well. Anyway, it's closer to right up to the top of the wad, which is where you'd want to be. So just for yucks, let's use this little container. Let's pull this down again. Yeah. So no other shot fell back out, so we know that we're good. Okay, so kind of tore up the last piece of cardboard. So we'll put in another one in here. Kind of flatten that out so it sits on the top of the wad. Okay, so pre-cramp. Back to pre-cramp again. Here we go. So we're going to bring this down. And if you'll notice, is that focused? Man, this little screen's hard. Anyway, it's just starting to make a little bit of a crown there for the folds. Okay, so that was the first stage. And then the last stage, we'll actually crimp the round. So now if you look at the end of this one, I think it's focused. See the end of the crimp there. It's not perfect because this is a dirty round. I mean, you can see a little bit of dirt and stuff in there. There you go. But it's tight. Very little rattle. Looks like it's all good. I mean, as the old saying goes, it's good enough for the girls I go out with. So I'm going to try putting it in the firearm and make sure that it seats. that the firearm closes, and then that one should be good to go. Then I've got 2 more to do just like that. Here, okay, yeah, just checked it. Functions, just it shouldn't say function. I haven't fired it. It's a reload, which is the same thing as the first load. It's just I happen to be using that hull for a second time. I did just put it in the firearm. I just checked to make sure that the that it would go in, see it all the way where it was supposed to, that the action of the firearm would close. So it should be all good to go. So we've got 2 more to do, and then those will be the 3 test rounds. I'll have them reloaded, and then I'll probably go ahead and make up some more of these and finish off this particular box I have, which I'll count them in the end. We'll see how many we came up with. There was some carnage in the setup a little bit. Me getting used to setting this machine up for 3-inch shells and the different kind of shot and wad and everything else. So we'll get them all loaded up, and then we'll see how many we have. All right, so the one-shot rounds seem to go pretty good. So we're gonna go ahead and load up some new hulls. So like I said, this is what came in the kit. So here's a brand new 410 3-inch hull. So we don't need to do the sizing. We don't need to do a primer. There's a primer already in it. So we just need to do the other stuff. So we'll put it in, put in our powder charge again. I always like to look down it. And make sure that the powder is actually in there, just so we don't have an issue. So that's done. Get another one of our wads. Our felt, put our felt in our wad, push that down there to the bottom. Oops, I gotta put that in there. Put that in there first, load it back in. Finding if I put this about halfway, it doesn't hang up as much on the wad. It doesn't need to go all the way down for any reason, so. Put in my shot. Look, yep, shot's about right where all the other ones are. Take my overshot card again, put it inside. I'm not gonna lie, it is a lot nicer using brand new hulls. They're not all tore up and bent up and everything else. But start the pre-crimp. Once again, fold it all the way over, and then we'll do final crimp. And there's the final, so you can see there's the final crimp on it. Looks good. It's got a nice taper. It's all nice and sealed up. Yep, perfect. So 1 more down. Let's see, I got 2, 4, 6, 7. Looks like, how many wads do we got? 2, 4, 6, 8 wads for shells. So I'm gonna go ahead and load up the rest of these, and then I'll show you. We'll box them up, and I'll show you how I create labels and then label all my stuff so I don't ever forget what it is. All right, I've finished loading up all the new ammunition, and all that stuff is right here. So I have it in a bullet box. The next most important thing to do is to create a label. I'll flip this around. So I'm using an old Tough book with a P-Touch label printer. So I'm going to create a label. I like to add on there bullet, powder used, primer used, load charge, everything else. Some of this stuff, I mean, these are hunting rounds. There's, what did I load up in here? What is there? There's 15 in this thing right now. So there's 15 rounds right now, and then these 3 were the 3 reloads, but there's 15 first time loads. So shoot, who knows, it might be 5 years before I go through all these. Shoot, might be even longer, and it might be shorter, but I'll always print labels. I'll put them on the box, and then that way in the future when I want to do it again, duplicate the load again, if I lose my computer or something else happens, I have a record. So I print 2 labels. I put one on the outside of the box, one on the inside of the box. That way I can always keep track of it. So I'm going to make the labels real quick, and then I will show you a label when it's done, so it gives other people ideas of, you know, what they need to have, or what you might like to have. Anyway, I'll be back. All right, I always put at least one sticker on the inside of the box. I should say label. It's a proper word. Always put one label on the inside of the box in case the one on the outside gets damaged. There's the inside one. We'll put one here on the outside. It's amazing how fast I forget stuff. So now there's a label on the outside of the box, has all the information off of it, and yeah, that should be all I need to do. Got them ready. I do have a whole nother kit, and I said I've got more components coming. I'll probably, because I have room in this box, there's 25 more. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Yeah, I've got room to put the other 25 in here. Since the machine's all set up, it's kind of been my experience that while you've got everything set up, do it once, do it right, then you can just put it away and not worry about it. Do 25 more shells. Shoot, that'll last me long time, and then I won't have to worry about it. Of course, in case I misplaced this box of ammo, which has happened to me before in the past, but you know, I'll have the stuff to reload it. I'll put it up on my shelf with everything else, and then if I have to, I can do it. But anyway, I appreciate you watching. Just another one of those things I do. So, what do you think? Anybody else do a little shotgun reloading? It's my first time loading tungsten shot. It loads the same as lead shot. It's just that because it's heavier, you actually load in a little bit less charge. It's pretty fun to load. I love loading shotgun stuff. It's a little bit different. I normally load a lot of brass cartridge firearm stuff. In fact, if you look over this way, let me see if I can flip this around. I think that I currently load, like if you read all those, there's like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's a whole bunch of different actual like brass cartridge traditional stuff that I load, but I just started getting into loading shotgun stuff. The only thing that really makes feasible sense price-wise is kind of the oddballs. I do use some 410s to shoot some grouse. So I haven't really loaded anything else, but maybe I should. What do you guys think? Throw me a comment. Let me know. Get any good info out of this? Yeah, let's talk about it. All right. Thanks for watching.